this video is gonna suck, man. It's just gonna be me going into the microphone and getting everything out there because I'm not gonna lie, man. I am terrified. Absolutely terrified for Game 7 tomorrow here in Vancouver between the Canucks and the Oilers. There's nothing, no update, no extra stuff that I wanted to talk about, no information, no new talking points, no whatever. I am just scared out of my mind. The Vancouver Canucks are facing elimination for the first time in the 2024 Stanley Cup Playoffs, and it comes to them in the form of the biggest, the boldest, the baddest situation of a game. Game number 7. This is what it's all about, folks. Many thought the Canucks would not be here. Half the entire ESPN crew thought the Canucks would be eliminated in 5 and 6 games apiece. It's what would take the Oilers to take out Vancouver. There were a small number of ESPN writers who said that the Canucks would lose in 7. There was only one who said that the team would win, and that was Ryan S. Clark, baby. The one savior Vancouver has for being, kind of treated by these ESPN writers. Yeah, there was only one dude out of 25 that said the Canucks would win, and he said it would be in 7. And now it's like, hey, look at this Postmate on the Canucks sub. We are in the end game now. Ryan S. Clark, Canucks in 7. And it's that one Doctor Strange moment in Infinity War. How many possibilities did you see? 14,605,000 possible outcomes. How many do we win? 1. And then the top comment on this Reddit post goes out there and says, Isan Al-Gaib. Yeah, okay, we're like kind of mixing and matching our pop culture here, folks. Speaking about pop culture, anybody seeing Furiosa? Yeah, no, here's a post made on the R Oilers subreddit. An actual photo of Edmonton Oilers fans driving towards Vancouver for Game 7 after leaving Rogers Place tonight. And it's literally Mad Max. The Oilers are coming back to town, baby, and I honestly am fearing out of my mind. Like, it's not necessarily, oh, I'm so scared that they're gonna lose. Like, we already said this a few days ago. The fact that the Canucks even made the second round, house money. Nobody thought they'd be this good. Nobody thought they'd win the division. Nobody thought they'd have a Lady Byng nominee, a Norris nominee, potential winner, Jack Adams nominee, and a Vezina nominee. They've got 4 guys this year nominated for awards, and not even the guy who hit 100 points this season on the team is nominated for anything. That was JT Miller. So, Vancouver is literally playing with house money. This is the best season that we could have envisioned them having at this point. And if you had asked any Canucks fan back in October, hey, here's a thing for you. Out of those 14,605,000 possible outcomes, would you like to play the outcome where the Canucks are number 1 in the Pacific, they beat Nashville in 6, and they get to a Game 7 against Edmonton in the second round? Every single person in this city, everybody from the Seawall to English Bay, everybody from Yaletown to Kitts, all throughout the rest of the Lower Mainland. Of course, I just talked about Vancouver stuff, but I'm not even in Vancouver. I'm just down to SkyTrain away from it. But everybody in this town would be like, yes, we want that. That would be a great outcome. Not even talking about the process. Just taking a look at where the Canucks go. If the Canucks lose in 7 to Edmonton on home ice, then okay, great, that's the season. That is a crazy good year. What fantastic growth this team exhibited. Sure, there are many questions as to where they go next. Zadorov, does he come back? Dakota Joshua, does he come back? Lindholm, does he come back? These are the problems that you have to deal with when you're a good NHL team that made prime acquisitions via expiring UFAs at the trade deadline. I get it, the Canucks didn't do these moves at the deadline, but you get what I mean. That's just how it goes. You have to deal with these situations, and the best part is, Alvin and Rutherford, they are poised, and they know how to handle these things. They won multiple Stanley Cups with the Penguins. They don't go back-to-back because, okay, we have a really good core, and then everything stayed the same next year. No, they had to make some additions. They had to let go of some guys. They weren't the exact same team in 2016 as they were in 2017 when they won the Cup twice in a row. So, for Vancouver, it's not like it's the end of the world. The problem that I'm feeling, and why I'm so scared, is because that Game 6 was so bad. It was the worst game the Canucks have played all playoffs long. And the crazy part is, I mean, if you go over to moneypuck.com, you take a look at the expected goals and everything, it actually was pretty equal. According to the statistical breakdown of the game, the Canucks actually had a very good chance of doing legitimate damage in this one. But what happens? They lose 5-1. Arturs Silovs maybe doesn't have the best game that he could have had, but if you look at the expected goals from MoneyPuck's model, Vancouver and Edmonton were right there. They were tied pretty much. 2.7 Canucks expected goals versus Edmonton's 2.73. Yet still, even though the game on paper looked as even as this does, when you watched the game in real life, it was not that. It was not a 50-50 game. It was, wow, the Canucks are not moving. They can't get any shots through. They have a 5-on-3 power play, they fumble it. Arturs Silovs maybe lets in a stinker or two, but still, he was the best player for the Canucks yesterday. So, that's more so what I am scared of. That this fear of the Vancouver Canucks being what they always have been, a disappointment, is still true. That they got this far only to completely choke and lose out in Game 7, maybe in a similar way that they lost in Game 6. Because if they come out here with two terrible dog water performances in Game 6 and Game 7, I don't know how I'm going to live that down. Because for years, Vancouver hockey has been terrible. So many bad seasons, so many bad games, and last year especially, 2023-2024, the year started out in the worst way possible. So many multi-goal blown leads. The Canucks set the record for most multi-goal blown leads to start out a season, or what was it, the multi-goal blown lead streak? The Canucks were losing every game after being up multiple goals, and there was huge trauma there. Hey, this team is a team full of fakers. They're posers. They're not real hockey players. They can't win games. Everybody sucks. And that insecurity is still there because Canucks fans have exhibited so many years of dog water hockey. It's been 10 years since they were near the bottom of the NHL for the first time in a while, and they drafted Jake Virtanen 6th overall. That was 10 years ago. Since then, they had 2 playoff appearances. Okay, 2015, the Sedins were still at the top of the league in points, and, you know, they made the playoffs, but they lost to Calgary. 2020, bubble playoffs, you could say the Canucks could not have even made the tournament had the season continued the way it was. The Canucks barely squeaked in via the play-in series. So, this 2024 year is like the first year in a long time that the Vancouver Canucks are actually showing that they're a lot better than we thought they would be, and subverting people's expectations in a positive way. So what if they go out there in Game 7 and they absolutely crap the bed like they did in Game 6? What if everything that we were fearing and we were insecure about, we were correct about? If this team finds a way to absolutely destroy themselves in Game number 7 against the Edmonton Oilers, then I don't know what's going to happen at that point. Again, it's not about the result. Game 7 is fine. Everybody has been eagerly waiting for a Game 7, especially in this second round. Again, this series is the only one of the second round to hit 7. All the other ones were over in 6. But it's not the result that matters, it's the way you got there. And the way the Canucks ended up losing Game 6, that was terrible. And it doesn't inspire any hope for Game 7. If the Canucks lost Game 6 like it's a really tight game, it's 2-2, and then a last-second goal goes in because of a fluke bounce or whatever, then okay, great. Like, that's a series. That is Edmonton clawing back, fighting for their playoff lives. That's great. But not like what we saw yesterday. Yesterday, the Canucks just blew it. They totally crapped the bed. And now that it's like, okay, it's possible for them to crap the bed, now we're scared. Or maybe I'm just scared. I don't know if you're scared. You can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below if you're scared as well. I guess one more devil's advocate point of view. At the very least, the Canucks had their worst game of the playoffs now. Like, if they had to have a worst game of the playoffs, might as well get it out of the way now. But at the same time, it's like, okay, well, now you're facing elimination. It's a one-game do-or-die, baby. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as to your feelings heading into game number 7. I'm terrified, but let me know your thoughts in the comments how you're feeling. I hope you enjoyed this video 99, and bye.